shuffle, slip, spot, grid. Do you know the difference? If you don't, then this video's for you, baby. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. This is your Pro Tools sensei, Wavy Wayne from Wayne.wav. If you're new to the place, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I drop videos like this all the time to help beginners, intermediates, experts, everybody who is trying to record, mix, or do anything on one of these DAWs, including Pro Tools, Luna, Logic, Studio One, all that good stuff, man. And we have a fun time doing it. This is a great place to be. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget that if you just want to go ahead and get a session template that's already ready to go with a bunch of my creative settings, ready for you to jump right into it and get the sound that you have been looking for, visit wavywayne.com and download one of my session templates. It'll help you out a whole lot, I promise you, all right? This is another video in the series I'm making for beginners, okay? Now, this is all about the Pro Tools edit modes, all right? So here we go. Let's just go ahead and jump right into them. There are 4 Pro Tools edit modes. We got shuffle, slip, spot, and grid. If you stick around to the end, I'll tell you my favorite editing mode, because I'm a G like that, all right? Let's go ahead and get it. Let's take a look at the first editing mode. The first editing mode is going to be slip. Now, while we here, let's just go ahead and kind of click around here. So we say slip. When you click on slip here in the top left corner, you see that's green. That's all good, right? When you click on grid, that's blue. That's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? You know I ride with the blue. You know what I'm saying? When you click on spot, that's orange. Okay. But when you click on shuffle, that thing is red. Now, what do you know about red? Red means stop. That's a fact. So we gonna, you know what? We're gonna stop right there at shuffle. Basically, when you are in shuffle mode, what this mode allows you to do is it snaps one clip to the beginning or ending of another, or to the beginning of the session altogether. So let's just say I just broke this up into several different clips. But now if I wanted to move this one clip with my grabber tool, and if you're not sure how the actual edit tools work, then you need to go back and watch my last video that I did all about the edit tools, because we ain't gonna cover that on this one, all right? So with the shuffle mode, when you click and move a clip, you can only move it before or after another clip. So a good way to say this is that clip movement is constrained to other clips, right? So I can only move this clip before or after another clip. I can't move it, that's trimming. I can't move it down here, okay? I can only move this clip before or after another clip. Now, here's another thing about shuffle mode. Once you delete a clip between 2 other clips in shuffle mode, the later clip will shuffle forward to fill the space. So this clip that I have in the middle here, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the delete key. And if you notice, the clip to my right here has shuffled forward to fill that spot. Now, there's a bunch of different uses that you might want to use this for, but we ain't gonna get off into them right now. I just want you to really understand how this mode works. Now, the reason that this could be dangerous, I'm gonna change over to slip mode real quick, is that let's just say I got another clip over here, right? You see how that's starting at 217, right? And I'm not even focusing on it. I'm over here focusing on stuff. And this also, change back to shuffle mode. Now this also applies to when you are trimming stuff, right? So if I trim this clip, right, you see everything keeps shuffling. All right, if I trim that, that's gonna shuffle. If I make a selection and delete part of this, all that shuffle. Now, the reason why I say that this is a dangerous editing mode, the reason why it's lit up red is because if you're not sure of what you're doing, you could just ruin the whole session, right? This clip, the later clip that I wasn't even trying to affect, was all the way over here back at some other later number. But now it has shuffled forward. It was like 2 something. I think it was like right here at 297. It was all the way over there, but now it's shuffled forward and it's all the way up on bar like 193 of 194 or something, right? That is a major problem in your session. When you are editing, for the most part, if you edit, especially if you're doing a song, you don't want stuff to just be moving all out of time. So let's just go ahead and say that unless you know exactly what you're doing, don't ever use shuffle mode. And when you do use it, you stop, you think about what you're doing, you make the move that you need to make, and you immediately get back out of shuffle mode into one of the other modes like slip or grid. Now let's just go ahead and talk about slip mode. Slip is the free editing mode. Basically, it's green. It's all good when you in slip mode. Anything that you do in slip mode, you can move stuff wherever you want to in slip mode. There are no constraints. I can move a clip all the way down here. I can move a clip overlapping other clips in slip mode. Man, you can do whatever you want to in slip mode. You can trim freely in slip mode. No constraints whatsoever when you're working in slip mode, okay? That is the free editing mode. It's lit green. Is there anything really more that I could say about slip mode besides that it's the free editing mode and there are no constraints when you're working in slip mode? No, that's it. Make sure you remember that, okay? Now, let's just go ahead over to spot mode. I'm just playing. We're going to go to grid mode. All right. So grid mode is my favorite mode. I don't know. I was gonna hold out on y'all and be like, man, we got to do all this stuff. But grid mode is my favorite mode, man. I ain't gonna cap you up. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button if you already finding some use in this video. So grid mode is my favorite mode. Now, basically the way grid mode works is that all clip movement and edits will be constrained to the grid. Now, if you see these blue lines, that is my grid. My grid value is going to be set right up here at the top of my edit toolbar here, where I can go in and click and change where I wanted each grid line to be set at 1 bar, half note, quarter note, so forth, all the way down to 64th note. And if you see when I go to 64th note, then I get these really small little grid lines up in here. But we're going to stick to 1 bar for now so that we can see the drastic differences here. Now, remember that in slip mode, everything is completely free editing right now, but in grid mode, all the movements snap to the grid. So if I click and drag this clip, it's going to snap directly to one of the grids. Also, when I'm trimming a clip, that's going to be affected by the grid mode as well, and it's going to trim only to the grid boundary. So if you need to make edits in smaller increments, of course, you can change the grid. Now, the grid that I like to work with is going to be a bar beat grid, as you see here, because it's going to be like 1 bars and different note values, right? In order for that to work and be accurate to your actual session, you need to lock the tempo in. I have a video on how to use Identify Beat to actually lock that tempo in. It's a really great video. It's my first ever video on YouTube, way before we had that 100K, you feel me? So make sure y'all go check that video out, and I'll probably update it again, but the information in there is as relevant as it was the day that I made it, okay? Your boy might just be looking a little different. But that's grid mode right here, okay? Again, all of the movements are constrained to the grid, including even adding fades. You see everything kind of just snaps to that grid. Even my cursor placement and selections are going to be snapped to the grid when I'm in grid mode. Simple as that. Now, there is another side to grid mode, right? And if you click and hold, you see they got the little drop down. There's relative grid. Now, basically, here's how relative grid works. I'm going to change this over to slip mode real quick and just drop this between the grid lines. And let's just change our grid back to 1 bar. Now, in relative grid, basically, if I move a clip, it will allow me to move that clip based on my grid value, which is 1 bar, but it will maintain the clip's relative position to the grid. So you see how this clip is a little bit offset? I also call this the Migos grid because of the relatives and then offset. You get it? No? Leave a like. No? Okay. So you see how this clip is a little offset to the grid. It's starting a little late. If I click and drag this clip, right, you see how it still moves. It's still constrained by the grid. It moves 1 bar, but it maintains its relative offset to the grid. That is relative grid mode, okay? Now, there are some times when you might use that, but mainly I don't really get bothered with that. I just work in absolute grid mode for the most part because that's what I find the most useful, and there's all kind of ways around working in relative grid. You really never need to change into that, but it's useful that it's there, and it's definitely good to know, especially for y'all who want to get Pro Tools certified. All right, now let's talk about the next mode here, and that's going to be spot mode, okay? Spot mode is a cool little mode. I think that this is more useful for people who are doing like sound effects and stuff. If you're working on Foley or adding something to some film or something like that, right? Because you can actually, basically, when you're in spot mode, you just click on a clip with the grabber tool, the spot dialog box pops up, and you basically tell Pro Tools where you want to move or reposition this clip. So most of the time, you know what I'm saying, I'm just doing this stuff manually. But let's say you imported some samples and you knew that the producer had a list and it said, you know, this needs to start at, you know, frame 300. And, you know, and then you hit that and you say, okay, start this clip at frame 300. You hit okay, and then it moves, okay? So that's spot mode, where basically you can move or reposition a clip to an exact location by using the spot dialog box, okay? So you can enter a numeric value, you know what I'm saying, maybe even bars or beats. Let's say I wanted to start this clip at bar 1. Let's just take that thing to the beginning. That's an easy way to do it. Or I could have just drag that bad joint up in grid mode or slip mode or whatever. All right. So since you stuck around this long, I am going to go ahead and give you a bonus, but you got to promise me that you're going to hit that like button and leave a comment. Say 100 Wavy. Thanks for that bonus. Okay. Okay, cool. Here goes the bonus. So the bonus is going to be how to suspend the grid or temporarily jump into different modes while you're in a different mode. So my favorite way to do this is my favorite mode is grid mode, right? So let's just say I'm working in grid mode, but for some reason I need to move this clip off of the grid some. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, I want to just trim a part of this, and I don't want to trim it all the way to that grid line. If you hold the command key on your keyboard, or if you on a PC, that's going to be control. Hold that key down. That's going to allow you to actually temporarily suspend the grid. So right now it's acting as if I am in slip mode. Okay. So that way I can get very precise with my edits. Let it go, and then boom, snap that start of the clip to the grid very easily, just like that. Again, just hold the command key down or control if you're on a PC, and that will temporarily suspend the grid if you're in grid mode. Now, another side to that same coin is that if you are working in slip mode, you can do the same thing. If you want to constrain to the grid, you can hold the command or control key down, and boom, now you are temporarily constraining to the grid just by holding command down. Wow, that's so dope, right? So ultimately, you can really just be working in grid mode and get the best out of slip and grid all just by holding down one extra key while you're working. I really hope that you found this video helpful. It's my aim to make you a better producer, a better engineer, and a better artist so we can get a better sounding world out here, all right? I'm Wavy Wayne. WavyWayne.com has a bunch of my session templates already ready to go with some creative effects ready to get you started with the sound that you are looking for, that industry standard sound, man. And you got all kind of artist presets and stuff like that, man. Just go to the website, WavyWayne.com, and check it out if you are interested, all right? Like I say before, man, this is my opinions, and actually a lot of this is facts, man. But at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions. You got to do what you think is best. But long as you be dope, you'll be all right with me. Peace.